What is your take on the riots? How do you feel about the riots? Don't ramble too much.
Nah, I got you.
Because I know you'll fucking
No.
You'll go off the cuff. But
What
is your take on the riots? How do you feel about the riots? What's your
So I have two sides of me, right? One side is like, oh, man, come on, you're killing the purpose, man. You know, you're killing the movement. That's like, but at the same time, I won't say it's working, but it's definitely getting like they're like, look, man, all right, we gotta calm this shit down or something like that. It seems like that's what's happening. It seems like there's so much pressure. And like the Minneapolis, was it the mayor or some shit? Like he called for it. When he saw it, he called for it within that week. Like, hey, we need to get this guy arrested. Which is surprising. I mean, most of the time, you don't see that.
kudos to him?
That's like, actually, kudos. It's like, now, in the future, with him and the police force and all that, that's not going to be great. But it seems like everybody's kind of in agreement. Like, all right, because I've even seen like the conservatives, and they're like, all right, yeah, that was fucked up. Like, everybody's kind of under the same agreement, like, that's fucked up. Now, how you handle that differs. But I can tell you with the rioting, it's going to sound fucked up, and I told you I might make it. It's like, I'm kind of for it, and I'm kind of not. And the reason why is because how many peaceful protests have there been? How many times has it been broken up by the cops? How many times has it been broken up by... what's the National Army? Or I mean the Army. Who they bring in?
It'd be National Guard.
Yeah, National Guard. I've seen a lot of times where a peaceful protest, and like now, recently. Remember, I forgot what state. Oh, Buffalo, New York. They pushed that old man down. Did you see that shit?
75-year-old.
You know what they said?
Boom! That guy is getting what, second-degree assault?
Or they got felony assault.
Felony assault. There you go.
But his thing though. They tried to say the man tripped and fell. It's like, hey, dickhead, how did he trip and fall?
No, he
it's like he got pushed. And what's crazy, it's like, yeah, maybe if he was 57, 47, 27, he would have got his balance back and be like, hey, man, what the fuck? And it's just like right now, if you punch somebody and they hit that ground and their head hits first.
Oh, he's done.
They're done. But we also
especially
know,
at that age.
Like I said, but I'm saying not even just if we fight somebody our age or whatever, and their head hits that concrete and they bleed and they're doing that, that's attempted manslaughter. Yeah. You know, that's a serious thing for us because it's like I remember I hit somebody, not in fighting, but I hit somebody and he kind of dazed out when I was boxing, and the first thing I did was I went and grabbed him. Because we were in a room that had four walls.
You knew it would go bad.
Because it's like, oh shit, if he hits this wall, it's gonna be.
Well, and then the other thing is how the police officer, like, another guy went to help him, the other guy pulled him away.
That right there pissed a lot of people off because you can see in the video that guy's bleeding from the ears.
Yeah, and he's old and
he's knocked out.
He's white too.
See, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, that's what's been happening. So the riots have actually been. I'll say that the peaceful protests seem to be getting broken up as if they're riots. Because there are some peaceful protests where the cops are coming in and they're like, what you say? Boom! Hitting somebody, throwing tear gas. It's one thing with these kids, I don't know if they're not kids, but they're protesters. They're on the road or whatever. It's like 3 people on the ground. I think they're blocking traffic, something like that, protesting, whatever. And the cop comes and he has the big ass mace can, right? And he literally just goes up to each one and he pulls his head back and sprays them in the face. Pulls their head back, sprays them in the face. One kid falls to the ground. Now I won't say kid, but young adults. He goes to the next one, pulls the head back because they're trying to cover, but they don't have good cover. This third person, he tries to spray, but they had fucking perfect. I mean, their elbows are touching. He couldn't get in. He literally goes and grabs this person's head and hair, yanks it back, sprays him in the face. Oh. And the guy gets up and he's like, ah. And he actually swings. He's like, fuck it. He swings. He doesn't hit the cop or nothing. Because the cop knows he gave him, because he covered up so well that when he went to spray him, it didn't affect him. Because it hit all arms. And it didn't even get through. He went and yanked that person's head back and sprayed him directly in the face.
Yeah, that's busted.
And it's like, see that right there. You guys, I get it. What you're supposed to do is come in, because they're sitting there, they're blocking traffic. You come in, they got the zip ties. You arrest them, get them off the street. you like when you do shit like that, or like with the older guy, like that shit right there. Because the kid who gave him the most of a push, he was the one like, oh fuck. You can see it in his face. He's like, oh fuck. This guy's knocked out. There's immediate blood pooling around this guy's head. He's bleeding out his ears. He goes, and the cop, I know what was happening. The guy who probably was in charge was like, don't break the line, move forward. We'll have somebody else come and do this. I know what's happening. But the human being in pretty much all of us is like, oh fuck. I didn't mean for that to happen. Like I pushed him, but I didn't mean for him to bust his head and crack his skull or whatever happened. It's like, so we see a bunch of videos like that because it's like the rioting. Everybody's talking about the rioting. And what I don't like is they're trying to group it with the protests.
Right.
And that's how that's how they're able to get all these cops militarized and the National Guard in there, because they're like, oh, they're protesting. And they're like, well, it's going to be rioting. It's going to be looting. Clearly. So we need to get out there and knock some heads. And when they go out there and they knock fucking heads, now it's like, because there's a lot of cops who are getting in trouble. There's a lot of cops who won't get in trouble. There's a lot of cops who are. And that same one where they pushed the guy down, 55 or 57 cops quit that task force. They didn't quit being cops. They quit that task force in solidarity with those two guys. And I'm like, that's another problem. Why do you think these guys...
Because they backed up the two guys?
They're
guys
backing up the two guys. Because they got felons up and they got suspended. And it's like, and they were, even when those guys got released, there was a bunch of them that, I'm like, see, that's the problem. That's where it becomes us versus you. Because you're happy that the guys who did wrong...
Us versus you being the cops.
Yeah, cops versus... And not even black people. Because that was a white guy. The cops versus civilians. And I told cops this a couple times that I've known. I was like, hey, man, you guys got to make sure you're up on the people and whatever. It's like, because there are way more civilians than our cops. The only thing that allows you guys to do your job is the social contract where you see a police officer, you give them a certain amount of respect. Even if you're yelling cussing, you're not going to do everything. Like if you're yelling a hothead, you got a hothead who fight anybody. He's not going to fight the cops. Like I said, with the rioting, and then this is the part where some people won't agree with me, I'm actually for it and against it because, God, I mean, think about it. That's American history.
Yeah.
Like whenever some shit in the past they didn't like, I mean the fucking Tea Party. I'm pretty sure nobody was like, that was a pretty peaceful protest. Like, no, they destroyed some shit and they pretended to be Indians.
Here's my thing. Here's my take on this. I mean, I kind of see what you're saying from the two-parter, but we got to define something here. Mm-hmm. Protesting, rioting. Mm-hmm. Okay. I feel like body cams are a new system of accountability.
Yeah.
Cell phones are a new system of accountability. Unfortunately, they also get abused, and I also think, unfortunately, the media doesn't display the good. So it's just kind of, it's not comical because it's obviously not funny, but it's just, it's crazy how they show a lot of the negative about the rioting and not the positive about the rioting. So I can't say I would feel the same as you, and obviously I'm not black, but I'm just saying for the point of saying...
I like what you said.
For the point of saying, like, it's a double-edged sword that you're saying, like, oh, well, like, he did it, but he didn't, and then, like, he didn't, not getting anywhere and getting something done.
Yeah.
Right? And the problem I have is Black Lives Matter. You know, you're wearing the hat, right? Okay.
That you gave me.
Right. But the point I'm saying is that you start a movement over here, okay? And all of a sudden you get Antifa comes in, and
know who that is.
You know, it's basically a anti-fascist, and they come in and overtake it and do a lot of extreme looting, and then you got the mysterious bricks showing up. You got all these crazy things. So I'm just saying, like, and then what happens is you have all this mass violence. You have I'm going to say rioting, okay? So then something like Trump comes in and says, okay, military. And people are like, oh, he declared martial law. He doesn't have the power to do that. Well, Insurrection Act of 1807, completely different, okay? Because of basically the population being out of control with the riots and people dying, he can fully do that. Now, there's a difference. It's not like martial law where he's like, line in the sand, you're not allowed to do anything, or you're losing your rights, which was what happened under martial law.
Yeah.
The point is, and this is where I get frustrated because it looks bad on the peaceful protesters then. So if you declare something like that, right, and then something happens where there's a curfew, and now you're out past that curfew, unfortunately, whether you're peaceful or not, you're a target. It's a mandated thing that you have to be inside. You're not inside, you're disobeying, therefore you're considered a rioter / a threat. So when something was peaceful, and I understand what you're saying, but you're putting guys out there that are instructed to not, there's no difference. You're past this time. You're not supposed to be out. It's kind of like ignorance doesn't give you a free pass if you didn't know about it, or et cetera, et cetera. So when guys are in riot gear going down the street saying, like, hey, you have to disband no matter if it's peaceful or not peaceful. Now, the sucky thing is people taking advantage of this incident to get TVs, to loot targets, to loot auto zones, and to blow stuff up and burn down. You're taking away from your own community. That's not helping you. It's kind of like what happened in Baltimore when everything got messed up with Ferguson, and then they go to the city and the mayor, and they're like, hey, rebuild the town. She's like, no. And they're like, well, why not? They're like, you messed it up. You know what I mean? So, like, you're basically hurting yourself by destroying your area. And then something like that, the only thing it can lead to is gentrification. So now it goes down into the bomb. Nobody's there. There's no businesses. Some white guy comes in and buys up pennies at the dollars and kicks you out.
Pretty much.
So, I mean, it's crappy the way it happens. I just hate to see something that gave you such a platform get dive bombed and overlooked by looters and rioters and thugs. They're thugs. And there's white thugs in that too. I also hate, last thing I'll say for my 5 is just how the things with Trump gets taken out of context in the snippets. And then if you actually go watch the full clip, you're like, oh, they left a huge stream of what he said that was positive out. You know what I mean? He's just like, oh, he's just... but anyway, that was
your...
that was my 5.
All right. So now
Your rebuttal, sir.
I will say, so it's been a lot of videos, and I've watched a lot of videos, like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, where they're like, hey, it's one where there's like these group of like white, call them what you want. And maybe it's Antifa, maybe it's protest, maybe it's just people fucking shit up. But it's like a group of white people like trying to break these windows. And they're not even like doing it good. They're like kicking at it and falling off, whatever.
Right.
And you see like these black people, you see like a black woman who has a megaphone yelling like, stop it. And they're still doing it. And she's like, and they're like, they're going to blame us for this. They're going to blame us for this. They're not going to blame you guys. They're going to blame us for this shit. And it's funny because... yeah, that's 100% right. They are going to be like, hey, it's about a black issue, especially when they do the black, if it's a black-white issue rather than, policing issue, whatever. The black-white issue, which media is going to flip it and turn it into, because they always say, white cop killed black person. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or something like that. And it's funny because I'm like, why did you just say the cop killed the person? It's like, because I noticed that in a lot of those cases, it was like, where a white police officer has killed a black, African-American man. And I'm like, yeah, that's what they were, but why did you say that? You know what I mean? It's like that's where the media comes in. So, like you said, Antifa, I've seen some of that shit where it's like the guy's dressed in all black, and then, like you can clearly see like white or whatever, or not even just some of them even hot. They're just like kicking shit in and doing, and it's literally multiple videos. They're like they're gonna blame the black people for this shit. They're not going to blame you guys. They're going to totally overlook, just like in Target and fucking Vans and Cheesecake Factory, all these places. It's like, No, white people were there looting too, but they focused on the black people. Now I don't know. There's probably more of them. I don't know. I was like, and the Target and all that shit was like, yeah. It's like, and I think I told you, I was like, it's kind of fucked up because it's like it would make more sense if the guy, like, if the cop came in, kicked ass in Target, and Target was like behind him or something, like, oh well, yeah, officer did right, and then they destroyed the Target. I kind of could understand that more. It's like rather than what the fuck happened. I don't know. I don't be honest with you. I told him like, hey, they fucked up a Target. I don't know what to say. It's like it don't seem like it got shit to do with anything really. It's like because it didn't. I don't even know if the Target was on the same street. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, so Antifa, maybe that's them coming in. Maybe they're fucking it up. I don't know. I've watched the video you sent me. I've seen some other people say about it. When they're leaving mysterious, like, fucking big-ass pallets of bricks in the middle, like, who the fuck is leaving this big-ass thing of bricks? Now, I heard...
George Soros.
No, well, I heard they were like, it was a cop.
No.
They were like, cops were doing... Now, that's what
they took the bricks.
Well, here's the thing.
And they were unloading them, and somebody took a video, and they're like, oh, they putting the bricks out. I'm like, no, they were at the station unloading the bricks, so they weren't on the street.
Here's the thing, though. Everybody said George Soros. I ain't see George Soros doing no shit. George Soros' old ass ain't moved from his comfy mansion. Hold on now. Give me time now. Give me time. So he ain't moved his ass from one of his mini mansions or his fucking compound, wherever. So even if it was him, you can't prove it. You goddamn guarantee you can't prove it. You can say his name all you want, but you ain't got no paper trail proving shit.
Can't prove who killed Epstein. We all know who did that.
Himself. But no, so what I'm saying is like, you're right. The protest is definitely getting overlooked, and because of the rioters, they basically made it harder for people to protest in peace because now you got cops coming through, knocking heads, treating everybody like a rioter, and it's like, and that's what you see on the camera. You're like, whoa, what the fuck? Like,
I'm just saying that's why.
Well, no, I'm saying, but that's like you have people who fucked it up in the beginning or whatever. But that's what I'm like. That's the problem because it's like, so now you got to because I don't even know if it's after curfew that they're doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just now they're calling in the fucking riot squad whenever there's a protest. It doesn't matter if it's peaceful or not. They're just calling the riot people in there. And the moment they get the word of, hey, get them off the street, that's it. It doesn't matter if
it's a mission now.
Exactly. It doesn't matter if they're peaceful or not, because now it's
because you're not supposed to be on the street.
Yeah, because they made the thing. It's like, but it's like normally a normal protest, like fucking assholes, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. But now it's like, all right, time to knock heads, and they go in there and they fucking knock heads, and now it's like, hey man, we got cameras and shit now. You guys already looked that badly. Whether it's right or wrong, whether it's somebody, and I think that's what happened in Buffalo. They were like, oh, we were giving the order. It's like, but come on, man. Use some fucking common sense. You push that old man down and fucking damn near killed him. Like, I would hate to see if you really pushed his ass and he would have flew into something else. I was like,
So I'm with you on that 100%. Agree with what you're saying. I mean, unfortunately, again, with that Insurrection Act, and then
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Basically, it's when rioting is happening and it's not getting taken care of, the president has the authority to militarize. You know what I mean? Use the National Guard. So people are like, "Oh, he's doing the martial law thing," as I was saying, but he's not. It's completely different, but the same in a sense.
Let's say he said when the looting starts, shooting starts. That's kind of not presidential. I'm just telling you. It's definitely
they
not
took it out of context. He meant when the looting starts, people get shot. Like, not. So I mean, something to address is was it 10 black people that were killed during this?
I don't even know. I didn't even know.
The retired police officer that was shot trying to protect a store.
There was one I saw when he protected the guy.
He died. You know what I mean? There was multiple people killed, and I don't want to say killed by Black Lives Matter because that's not fair, but just killed in the riots in general, which that's insane to me. You know what I mean? You're killing your cause again. So if you want to say that these X amount of people died so far during all this rioting over one guy, do you think that's like what this guy would have wanted? You know what I mean? Through the cause. And then like, another thing to point out. So this is this part of that study that I was telling you about. So this is actually a Pew Research study showing the different hashtags.
Is that what you're talking about?
This is the actual study, so I was able to find it, and this is like a legitimate organization. So this is like the George Zimmerman death, like, no.
What is that?
It's basically based on social media activity. Then you have Eric Gardner, flat. You have Ferguson.
Are you saying it goes up and comes down, or it doesn't go up?
Incident of death of Michael Brown. I don't know why this says Ferguson. M.O. police officer not indicted in shooting of Michael Brown. I don't think Michael Brown was... Oh, that's Missouri. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, Ferguson. Yeah, that's Ferguson.
Well, I'm thinking Ferguson. I always get that mixed up with...
Freddie Gray.
Yeah. Which is...
Baltimore.
But anyway, so you got Ferguson here with Mike Brown, and then like a couple little spiffs. And then here on an election year, 2016, massive spike.
For what?
5 police officers killed during attack following protest in Dallas.
I want to talk about that too, but yeah.
Then you go down, 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 not much. And then all of a sudden you hit, it doesn't show the 2020, but if you can keep going, you'll find it spike up again. So coincidentally, it spikes up on election year in 2016.
Are you saying the hashtag? Oh, no, you're right. Yeah.
Uses hashtags and Twitter periodically spikes in response to major news events. So it's basically like saying on... And that's kind of like that point that I was saying about those, Black Lives Matter versus Black Votes Matter. You know what I mean? It's like suddenly this gets a national stage, and then there's also, you're seeing videos of money being exchanged to people in the streets.
Where?
Black people in the streets. You haven't seen any of those? I've sent them to you. Of course, you don't watch them. Where a white dude is paying.
Oh, paying people.
Paying like young black people to go do this or go do that. And it's like, what? Like the mysterious bricks. You know what I mean? Like,
what about that cop dude?
Well, and here's my fear is like this is going on a bigger scale, and I hate to be conspiratorial about it, but at the same time, it's like coincidence. I'm not a favor of it. So you're seeing something like this explode again on an election year, and it's kind of funny how everybody just kind of forgot about COVID-19.
I'll tell you one thing. I went to that goddamn Sheets before I got here, and it was a bunch of motherfuckers in there not wearing masks. I was like, if you don't get your goddamn COVID ass away from me. Now, it was like half and half. It was like half were wearing masks, half weren't. The people who worked there, and some people came in, but the other half weren't. And I was like, what the fuck is going on out here in goddamn Whitesville? What is y'all doing?
Now, that's...
Because around my way, we wear masks all the time.
Yeah. But anyway, that was just that study. I'll throw it in here. So everybody can see it, but it just, I feel like there's a lot of dirty stuff happening right now.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then you have
people
Antifa involved in it too.
You have people using that their own personal, situation to profit off of this. I mean, that's always going to be the situation. Like you said, there's going to be some developer who's like, they ruined the shit. This is going to be so good. I'm going to buy this shit for, 100,000 when it was $1 million just last year or something crazy like that. And and they're going to come in, they're going to gentrify, they're going to use every fucking reasoning to, fuck over whatever community.
Well, look how bad that happened, gentrification down in Baltimore. You know what I mean? That whole area around there is just little white pockets.
It's hilarious too. It's just like you go down one block and you're like,
where? And then you go over and it's like,
yeah, it's like, you guys sure you want to keep this next to each other?
Right. Like
it's like, I think you want to finish off.
White college party town.
Oh man, they love it. It's like they go and get those goddamn expensive row homes or whatever, and they're nice as shit on the inside. And it's like, hey, I don't know but that's because the realtor or developer's like, hey, in about 5 years, man, this place is going to be booming. And goddamn it.
But that's what happens, though, because of high crime, stuff like that. Place gets destroyed. Then they come in. They're like, yeah, I'm going to buy this up real cheap. And then all of a sudden start bringing in money. And as they bring in money, they rebuild a community. And unfortunately...
They don't rebuild it with the people who are there.
They don't rebuild it with the people that are there because the people that are there can't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like... That's what Trump gets accused of a lot is with the hotel or not hotel, the buying up of property in New York. But that's been going on. You
Oh
know what I mean?
no. He's definitely not the first one to do it or nothing. I'm gonna tell you, look, there's a lot of underhanded shit he did, but there was a lot of underhanded shit everybody was doing, but he did it. You got hats off to him. He did it kind of the best.
So we wanted to talk about the difference of
The protest that happened a month ago.
peaceful protest, and we talked about the rioting, and then the protesting that happened a month ago for going back to work. Give me your thoughts on that.
Well, like I said, you said peaceful, I say intimidating as fuck. It was like, because here's the thing. I can tell you right now, me as a normal person, and maybe some people might be into. I'm a bigger person. Like, we're both bigger guys. So somebody sees us, they don't go, oh, maybe I could, they kind of like, these guys, like, oof, might want to watch out. But I can tell you right now, if me and you show up, or even just one of us show up, fucking, I'm talking about to the nines. I got a goddamn AR on my chest. I got a shotgun on my back. I got 2 fucking guns on my hip. I got a knife. I got a fucking vest on. I got my little Call of Duty military hat on. I mean, I look like the Call of Duty guy. There's not going to be a lot of people who are going to push on me. It's not going to be a lot of people who are thinking of, I need to forcefully get him out of here. And I'm like, I didn't talk to that guy. You know why? Because at any moment, I can turn this bitch into Columbine. It doesn't matter if I do or if I don't. Any moment, I can turn this bitch into that the goddamn shooting at the theater. I can do a mass shooting, whether or not I choose to. Because if I'm armed and you're not, I'm telling you right now, when somebody knows you have a gun, they talk to you a little different. They act a little different. And if I bring 100 to 200 people armed to the teeth, you see now one cop, they were all in those cops' faces. They were yelling and spitting in them cops' faces. I don't mean like Tui, I mean like just from the yelling. And I showed you the picture because it was even a joke. It was like Forrest Gump said, it's like, and then all of a sudden, blue lives didn't matter anymore. It was like, you got damn right they didn't matter. And they were in the Capitol building. They weren't outside. They were outside, but they were inside Capitol building with guns and shit, scaring the fuck out of those people who work there. And I don't care what you say. If a bunch of people I don't know who are angry, they weren't happy. They weren't like, hey guys, can we get back to it? They were like, we need to get back to fucking work. I need a haircut. I don't want to go swimming. I want to play outside, blah, blah, blah. All this shit. And they came armed to the teeth with that bullshit. It was like, there is a reason why they treated them differently. Because at any moment, that's a fucking goddamn, I won't say teapot, but kettle pot, whatever, because a powder keg. I was like, because whenever you start putting your hands on somebody or treating them bad when they're fucking armed, if they don't have enough sense, it can become a shootout. A very big shootout with a lot of people. Trust me, half those people, once they heard a gunfire, they would probably run. It's not even a question. They would run.
Yeah.
They're not going to shoot back. They're going to run and then hold whatever position they got and be like, if somebody comes to get me, I'll shoot them. Like, half of them are fucking scared shitless. But you don't need 100 people. That's why when they send fucking those special teams in to get those ambulance or somebody like, they don't send 100 people. They might, have 100 people looking in the area, whatever, but they send a specialized unit of fucking 10, 15 people, something like that, maybe even smaller.
Yeah, smaller.
Exactly. And get that person. You know why? Because you only need that many people to fuck shit up. Because most of the time, other people are just selling wolf tickets, talking out their ass. I was like, and I'm telling you, that situation was only different because they were all fucking armed. Correction, I won't say only different, but I believe that situation versus a bunch of people who don't have guns, they treat them differently. I'm just saying they treat them differently than they did those guys because they were yelling, they were screaming, they were protesting, they were doing everything the same except they had guns on the side of them, the front of them, the back of them, down their ankles, fucking bazookas, a rocket launcher. We'll say rocket launcher, not a bazooka, a rocket launcher. Come on now, there's a difference.
Yeah, but hold on, you're comparing two different things that aren't the same.
Also, I think the cops agreed with what those people were
Right.
saying.
A lot of the cops agreed with what those people were saying, getting back to work, opening the country, thinking it was a little ridiculous. And a lot of cops saying, hey, we're not arresting people who want to open their business because they're going to lose. I got to find the list of how many businesses in Pennsylvania have closed up shop. Now, I
know
told you
that's
before,
country.
I did not agree with what people
Oh, no,
did
yeah.
with intimidation using, guns and standing there. But here was my sort of issue that happened here. We had our governor.
You're talking about here in Pennsylvania?
Yeah. Tom Wolf was basically crapping all over these people wanting to reopen the country, this, that, and the other. But yet there is footage of him in Harrisburg protesting with Black Lives Matter. Now you could say...
Recently?
Oh, yeah, it just happened.
Oh, okay.
I sent a picture of it to my friend. He's like, well, they're not the same. And I'm like, the point I'm trying to say, though,
Wait a
is...
second. Somebody disagree with you out there?
No, he lives far away. But the point I'm trying to say is like, I understand a death versus going back to work, okay? Of course, they're not equal. There's not apples to apples there. But point in being is you're supporting one's person's ability to protest versus another person's ability to protest.
Yeah.
And you actually get with this protest because you're a far left Democrat and you want to look the part. You know what I mean? Does that guy really care?
Tom Wolf?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, does that guy really care about what, Black Lives Matter? You know what I mean? It's a political ploy.
A lot of them know.
Right.
Like, you see a lot of people.
That makes me mad. That's nasty.
I played
That's dirty.
Me and my son played Call of Duty the other day. And before you even get to the main screen.
I saw that. It's on Amazon right now, too.
Yeah, it's on everything. But it's like, and even like all the games, like especially if you do online, it's like Black Lives Matter, da-da-da. And it says something at the bottom. And you're like, yes, us and some other company are like, we support this, that, and third. And I was like, and that's why I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Because I'm really like, what's going on that I don't see? Because I won't say we, or actually, no, my mother and my sister went protesting the other day. It was safe as can be. But I'm like, what's going on now that we're getting a different reaction from protests? Because I was like, because there's been protesting and rioting and looting and shit before. It's happened multiple times. It's like, what the fuck is happening now?
That's why I'm convinced election year stuff. They really want to prop up how bad. Because everybody, I think, is on the Trump train of superhighway good economy. And they're like, oh, COVID.
I just heard we're in a recession.
Which COVID, well, right. But it's the Dow's already bouncing back pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So,
it's been good when he came. It was good when he came in, though.
Well, but it just kept going on the same trend.
Yeah.
Point in being, though, is
it's gone up.
Nobody's going to remove somebody from office when the economy's going good. So they're trying to really prop up everything that's happening bad.
Socially, what's going on?
Right, and that's just my opinion. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna be honest with you. You might be right because I'm baffled that one, how quickly this happened. Because it was like, all right, they got him, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, normally this takes like a fucking year, like 6 months to a year. Like it dies down, people forget about it, and it like really has to be something wrong for it to go all the way through.
Well, it would have been one thing too if it was like a week later and there was no indictment.
Oh no, they did that shit quick.
It was like the next day.
Yeah, it was like within the same week that he did that shit. They were like,
it wasn't even next day. It was next day. I mean, it wasn't.
Really?
It was like
I just know
killed,
looking at the news.
Boom, riot. Because it was like, and that's why a lot of people were like, why would you not wait to at least see that they're not? And yeah, it took a couple days to arrest them, but of course, you can't just arrest a police officer on chump charges without seeing evidence. You've got to review all the evidence.
The
because
mayor pushed for that. The mayor pushed for it real hard.
Right, but you gotta
Collaborate.
You got to collaborate and bring all that evidence together, and before you go make that accusation. You know what I mean? Same thing with like anybody in a political power like, hey, is this solid?
Yeah.
Nah, we're just gonna go Russian collusion again. Seventh time we're gonna do this. We're good. Yep.
But hey, listen, you can't say that. How many times did they hit up and
Where's your birth certificate?
yeah, exactly. It was like birth certificate, like really? Like
Yeah,
even
let it
Obama,
go.
like
Let it
towards
go.
like towards the end, even Obama was like, "Fuck you." like this is one time he was like, "I don't have it. Now what? What you gonna do?"
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. You probably hit the nail on the head because it's like I've never seen supposed justice, if you will, this quick.
Yeah.
Never. I mean, and all of because it usually they paid leave.
But you've
takes
also
months.
never seen
What?
these
I've also
Democratic governors walking. It wasn't just Tom Wolf. Multiple
no, it happened all over the
governors
country.
are doing it.
It's happening all over the country, and you know what? Maybe I just didn't pay attention because I forgot it is like I said, it's election year coming up, and it's like,
And that's what makes it dirty, man. That's what makes it dirty, and that's why it's like
man, listen, it's happened. So
Black
many,
Lives Matter, but to these people, Black votes matter. You
Not-
know what I
I
mean?
was
And
saying-
now all of a sudden, Joe Biden's coming out of the woodwork like, you ain't black.
This motherfucker's so stupid, man.
But you know what I mean.
But
There's
I'll
your
tell you
stop
one
and frisk guy right there. and-
Money wise, he's not like Trump, but goddamn, the shit he says is similar to what Trump was saying when he was coming up.
No, he's like a George Bush. He just gets lost. He's like, what was I talking about?
It really is like clearly Obama was like, hey, Biden, do me a favor. Can you go to the school? Like, go to the school and read this. Read this. No. Like, I got no ideas. Read this. Go to that school. We're gonna be over here handling some other shit. Oh, thank God we got him out of here. This motherfucker's retarded. Because I'm telling you, it's like, what? That's like, yeah, you may not like Bernie, and he's fucking probably, I think he even says he's a socialist or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, but at least he's coherent.
Right.
It's like, at least, you know what I'm saying? Like, his ideas are, extreme, but God damn
Sound.
it, man.
Right.
He's a sound human being. He don't look like it. He looks like he would talk like Joe Biden.
Yeah.
But he doesn't, surprisingly. It's like, and he's been saying the same shit for like 30 years. So you at least got to get his hats off to him. But boy, the Democrat Party still keeps stealing that shit from him.
They do.
Every year. I was like, you might as well become an independent now. Was it libertarian or some shit?